Hey, how you doing? Right behind me, let me see if I can get out of the way. Right behind me is my Anycubic Chiron. And I promised to do some more updates on it as time allowed. And I've been meaning to make this video for a little while. And I had some a period of negative experiences with the Chiron. And let me tell you why. So initially, I did a lot of cool prints with the Chiron. The coolest of all being this massive skull that Cindy made. Well, I made it and she painted it. Did this in the Chiron. It took something like, God, 5 days, 4 days. I don't know. It took forever. And that is one thing that I talked about with the Chiron that I thought was a negative, is that it prints very, very slow. And I guess that's a byproduct just of the scale of the bed and the print head. Because of its size, you can get too much momentum from back and forth motions. So they scaled the speed down accordingly. So it's something that, it's a slight annoyance, but didn't really bother me. But what did bother me was these random lockups that I started to get on the Chiron. I was doing a rather large print, and it stopped like 19 hours into it, something like that, and the screen was just frozen. The print head was frozen. All the heaters had turned off. But if you look at the control panel, it looked like it was still printing, but it was not. It was just hung. And I turned it off, turned it back on, and there's no recovering from it at that point. And I thought, oh, that's weird. So I just kind of wrote it off and went along my merry way. And then as I continued to do some larger prints, this kept occurring. It kept locking up. One time it locked up, 15 hours into a print. And then it started locking up 3 hours into a print. And then it locked up after 55 minutes into a print. And every time it was the same symptoms, where the control panel would just become unresponsive, and the only way to get out of that condition was to unplug it, or not unplug it, but turn it off, turn it back on. So of course I went to the Anycubic forum on Facebook and posted about my problem. And I saw other people having the problem as well, which is often the case. And the solution that one guy came up with, it seemed crazy to me. It seemed like it wouldn't work, but he swore it worked for him. Basically, what he did was, any connector on the Chiron, he put like silicone on it. He like siliconed it in place. I think he used something called 555, I guess. Which maybe it's a glue, actually, I don't know. And him doing that and reporting success was interesting to me, and also when you consider that a number of the connectors from factory already have this adhesive sealant silicone on it already. Like almost all of the connectors to the motors have silicone on them to keep them in place. So, and in addition to this, I also reached out to support, to Anycubic support at anycubic.com, I think was the email address, and said, hey, this is really getting annoying. It's getting to the point that I don't trust the printer. I don't want to do these huge prints and then have it just lock up in the middle of it. I mean, that makes the printer pretty much worthless to me. So he had a few suggestions. None of them seemed to work, but then he came up with a final suggestion that I did try, and let me just show you what I did. Alright, that little zip tie, basically that's not there from the factory, but what I did is I put a zip tie through the, I guess this is a heat sink or just a case, and tied down the print head cable so there's no possibility of it getting moved. It's kind of a strain relief, I guess. And in addition to that, I unplugged and replugged this. I also unplugged and replugged any connector that I had to plug in from factory, just to make sure everything was seated well. But since making that change, it's been good. I haven't had a single lockup. I've done a number of, I'm trying to think the longest print. I've done a few 18-hour prints, and it has not locked up once since I did that. So those of you, if you found this video because your Chiron is locking up, I would strongly recommend that you do what I did. Reseat any of those connectors that are pluggable, that don't already have silicone on them. You could put silicone on them if you want to be safe, but in my case, I think the thing that actually fixed it was securing the printhead cable with that zip tie, so there's no possibility of it getting jostled during the print. And I'll let you know if it changes from here on out, but it seems like that might have been the fix for my problem. Oh, one other thing that I did have a negative opinion about was the difficulty in loading filament in the Chiron with this design. And what I've actually wound up starting to do is whenever I need to load or change filament, I pop these 3 screws out, which gives you direct access to the area where the filament is fed through the extruder. And I find it's much easier for me to get it lined up correctly with this cover off, and then I just pop it back on, and it saves me a lot of hassle. Instead of just fishing around and trying to line it up, it's very difficult to do with this cover on, at least I've found. So yeah, I pull this cover off, unload and reload the filament, and everything's great. So anyways, that's all I got for you. I just wanted to make a quick video illustrating my fix for what was a very annoying problem. Like I said, it was getting to the point that I wasn't going to use the printer. Because a printer that freezes during print jobs is not useful to anybody. So I'm glad that at least this appears to have fixed the problem. If you are having a similar problem to this, I would recommend you try these steps as well. And feel free to let me know in the comments below if it helped you, or if you have any more information about it. I would find that useful as well. So that's all I have for you for now. If you found this video interesting, please give it a big thumbs up. If this is your first time on the channel, please consider subscribing. And also leave your comments, suggestions, ideas, and thoughts below. I always am interested to see what my viewership thinks about the content. So yeah, please be sure to do that. I hope you had a good Thanksgiving weekend, and that's all I got for you for now. Till next time, Duffman out.